Guys, we're finally back in action for another brew day, so I'll swing the camera around and just tell you what we're brewing up today. Okay, so I've just got the water up to temperature to mash in my grains, but before we do that I'll just run through what I'm doing. So I'm doing a coconut oatmeal stout today. So quickly run through the grain bill. So it's 79% Maris Otter, 7% is Gladfields Big O malted oats. So they're like rolled oats, but they've got a little bit more flavour from the sort of like a nutty sort of taste profile to them, which I thought would be quite good. Then we've got 7% Eclipse wheat, which is like midnight wheat, so give it that nice black colour and a little bit of light sort of roast and like coffee sort of flavours. And then the rest, 7%, is made up of Gladfields light chocolate, so another little bit of hit of like espresso and light chocolate. So yeah, that's the grain. And then I've got 300 grams of flaked coconut. So what I'm planning to do with this is I'm going to split it in half, so 150 grams. I'm going to toast the lot. So at the moment, I don't know if you can see, it's all untoasted. So I'm going to toast it, put half at the end of the boil, and then the other half of the toasted coconut I'm going to add to the fermenter for about 3 days at the end of fermentation. So hopefully get a nice big hit. 300 grams and a half batch should be plenty. I'm going to bitter with Fuggles, and then I'm going to use SO4 yeast. So yeah, we will come back, guys. I'll just get the grain mashed in and then just do a couple of clips throughout the brew day. Cheers. Okay, so we're 30 minutes through a 60-minute mash. I'm just mashing at 66 degrees. So it's all going well so far. Recirculation going fine. Just thought I'd quickly show you the colours sort of developing nicely, getting darker and darker. So yeah, that's all going well. So while the rest of the mash is going, I will go and toast half or 150 grams of that coconut toasted up, and I'll be adding that at the after the boil's finished. But we'll be back at the next stage. Okay, so I've finished the mash, and you would have seen I pulled the malt pipe out just to drain all the liquid. So now we're starting a 60-minute boil, so I'm putting in 25 grams of Fuggles just for bittering, so it should give me around 20 IBUs. So yeah, we'll let that do its thing, and then the next stage we'll come back, will be at the end of the boil, and we'll hopefully have that coconut toasted and we'll add that in. Cheers. Okay, so we're 10 minutes from the end of boil, so I've just put in the wort chiller just to sterilise it, and we'll put in half a Whirfloc, and we'll come back in the next step. Okay, so we're at the end of boil, and what I've done is I've cooled the wort down to 80 degrees so I don't get any more bitterness from the Fuggles. And here is the 150 grams of toasted coconut. Came out really well. A mate suggested doing it in the microwave, which is a lot easier to control and keep an eye on. So I'm going to add this now, and we'll leave it in there for at least 15 minutes just to get all that coconutty goodness into the wort. So I'll probably need 2 hands for this, so I'll put the camera down and see you at the next step. Cheers, guys. But the coconut's smelling absolutely fantastic. Okay, so the 20 minutes of letting the chips sit in the wort are finished. Quite pleased to see that the coconut chips have sort of pretty much stayed intact and just floating on the top, because I was a bit worried about sort of coconut debris clogging up the bazooka screen or getting transferred, so hopefully that's not the case. So we'll continue cooling the wort down, and then I'll come back next step. Cheers, guys. Okay, so we've finished cooling the wort down, and we're just transferring into the fermenter here. poured up a hydro sample. So we'll finish doing the transfer and I'll pitch the SO4 and then we'll come back at the end and do a bit of a quick wrap up. Okay, so the fermenter's tucked up in the fermentation chamber. Don't need to use the fridge at this time of year, so I've just got the heat pad hooked up to the ITC. So we'll let that do its thing, and then in the last 3 or 4 days I will add in the other 150 grams of toasted coconut. But we'll swing around and we'll have a look at the sample, hydro sample, and have a taste. Okay, so there's the hydro sample. The brew day went really well, no big dramas. The big sort of flakes or chips of the toasted coconut worked really well just to help with, actually I think it aided in filtering out some of the hop debris going into the fermenter, and also because of the big chips I didn't get any of those transferring through the filter into the fermenter, which was really the reason I used those bigger pieces of coconut rather than the small sort of desiccated coconut. I'm really happy with how it toasted up so I did it in the microwave, did it for a couple of minutes. I did it for a minute, then another minute in the microwave, and then just did it at like 20-second intervals and just sort of tossed it until it had a nice sort of light sort of toast colour. But that worked really well. So yeah, there's the sample. Came out at 1054, so that was pretty much within about a point of what I was expecting. Smells good. Getting some roast as you would expect on the nose, but we'll go in for a taste, see if we can pick up any of that coconut in particular. Oh yeah, I can definitely already pick up some coconut, which is great. I was hoping just chucking the coconut at the end of the boil and letting it sit there would, you know, a lot of the coconut oils would come out. But yeah, no, there's definitely coconut there. It's not super in your face or anything. Don't forget I've got another 150 grams to add into the fermenter. So hopefully with that addition it'll be a nice sort of coconut kick coming off the final beer. Tastes good, some nice smooth sort of roast and sort of coffee flavours already. There's no horrible astringent bitterness coming through, which is one of the reasons I chose the Eclipse wheat. It's effectively like a black malt, but you don't get any additional bitterness added into the beer, but you do get those sort of nice smooth roast flavours. So yeah, very impressed with how it tastes. So yeah, thank you for watching, guys. If you've got any questions about anything I did, the coconut or the malts, etc., just sing out. Otherwise, I'll see you in a tasting video in a couple of weeks. Thanks for watching. Over and out. Cheers.